get it up on all of the channels. So if you bear with me, I am going to do just that. And I know that you can because you've been here before. And today I'm doing a lesson. So it's really impromptu. And I had no idea that I was going to do it when I first got up. But I did manage to have someone give me some really good advice yesterday. And so I thought, okay, go do this thing. And so that's what I'm doing. I saw that there was an opportunity for me to talk to you and teach something about what I love teaching about. So here I am, a little flustered from the day. So welcome to everybody who's here. My name is Miriam Linderman. I am a coach and a writer. Hey, Tracy, this is so fun to see you. Thanks for being here. I have this workshop coming up that I am leading. It's called Living from Our Souls. And that word soul has driven a few people a little crazy, mainly people that I know really well. And if you've ever tried to market that, I tell you, it is not the easiest thing in the world. So I changed the words, and today this is what, okay, I've got to just let me move this up, and then I can see myself. Okay, 3 actions for living wisely. Now, if you haven't done any of these camera things before, and you've got it set properly, you'll notice that this is not a mirror, but you're so used to the mirror images of yourself that if I go this way, I think I'm going right, but it doesn't, it's not how it's working. So 3 actions for living wisely, or living from your soul, whatever it is that you want to talk about. How you know that the thing that you are doing in your life is true for you, and that you're actually being the oak tree. In other words, there's an acorn and it becomes an oak tree. And that acorn, or the soul, or the self, or the one who is in here, doesn't say, wow, I wish I were a tulip, or am I an oak tree? Maybe I'm a rabbit. No, that is just not what goes on. What goes on is that the oak tree knows itself. We human beings are a little less likely to do that because of so many influences around us. And that, of course, is pretty funny. If you want to talk about humor, it is humorous. But, it takes a long time for us to figure out who we are because most of the time we're doing what other people have been asking us to do. So today I'm going to talk about some actions, but I also want to talk about the issues that I actually posted that often come, for clients, for myself, about do we find ourselves in relationships, work, or situations that drain our vitality or hurt us? And I'm going to talk about that today. I'm going to talk about that with respect to work for sure and a relationship as well. So let me tell you the story. This was quite a few years ago when I wasn't living here. And the situation at work was building up over time. There were some senior managers that I was working with, and I was very much at odds with their ethics and their practices. I know that happens to a lot of us. But it was going on for years. And I knew about that. So how did I know? Because I felt it. I got squinchy and uncomfortable every time I'd have to listen to them, work with them, etc. But what happened was that although this wonderful mechanism called body had the absolute best way of showing me what was really going on, my mind, my thinking mind, I wasn't putting it to very good use. And it said, no, stay. This is good for you. Tough it out. It's going to be good for you. Pays good. whatever, you're scared of this or that. And so in the end, there were feelings that were coming, but what were they? Well, number one was I got really depressed. That was the major piece. So one day, I was helping lead an event for them outside of the city, and it was Friday, it was 4:30, and I wanted to get the heck out of there. So when I finally could get out of there, I drove quickly. Now, I always drive quickly. I'm from Montreal. That's how they taught me. However, I wouldn't have done that on ice. And what I didn't know was there was fresh gravel. I could see that, but I had no idea that if I had to take a corner at that speed, it would act as ice. So in the end, I rolled my car, and I don't know how it managed to flip over and land on the tires, on the wheels. However, the top was ruined, and I walked out of there without any injury and traumatized, really. I didn't know it at that moment because I just had to wave somebody down. I knew that my boss was like the last one out of there, and I got the hell out of the ditch. It was like near farmland, and waved him down. So why am I telling you this? Because I knew all along that something was not right. Let me just check in to see if anybody's here and if I need to answer some questions. Okay, all's good. So there I was, and this was like going on for a long time. So my action number one for you, really, number one, is to pay attention what you're sensing in your body. What's going on in your body? Like, really just ask that question. I wanted to put on here, listen to your body. Well, I hear that very often, and as soon as I do, I just kind of intellectually know it, but I don't go there. So what I really want you to do is to ask yourself, what's going on in your body? Like, oh, do you want to see my little cat? Look, Tracy, this is Simon. Simon. Okay, I won't force him. So what's going on in your body is the first question, because all I want you to do is admit the feeling to yourself. Like, yes, I really hate it here. I really hate it here. So what's going on in your body is the first action you can take. The second action is this: to know where in your body do you feel it. Because sometimes we're so out of touch with our bodies, aren't we? Like, we live from the neck up so much. I mean, that's what we were taught. Like, you have to, think and calculate and figure out, and it's all from this little thing up here. But that's not where we get all the information. And not only that, but we don't use it all very well sometimes if we're not paying attention to the whole part. So where in your body do you feel it? Like, is it in your stomach? Do you get a headache? Is it behind your eyes? Is it in your shoulders? It doesn't matter. All these questions do is get you connected to your whole being. And then you admit what you are feeling to yourself. Admit what you are feeling. If to no one else, look at this. Don't use this as a mirror. Admit what you are feeling to yourself. You don't have to tell anyone, but at least just say, okay, I really know I hate it here. I really know. Because eventually there's a cost. And, in my story, the cost was that not only did I roll my car, and of course, well, it could have been totaled. It was just a really good car, and they didn't want to do that, which was good because then I had the car. And, the next thing, like, you just want to be able to connect with that. And then the next thing you ask, I was saying, because I lost my train of thought there, what you want to do is ask yourself and get really in touch with how is it going in your body. And I know that sometimes like we'll bitch and complain to other people, but it's coming from here. And what I'm asking is for you to just pay attention, because there's a lot of wisdom in the body. And when we don't pay attention to that wisdom, there are always consequences. So in my lifetime around work, where I could have done something else because there was something that was bothering me that was like big and significant, I absolutely could have taken one tiny action and asked myself, number one, what's going on here, and done something, even if it meant just finding out what other companies are there in this city. What are they doing? Is anyone having a lot of fun there? Maybe you could go there. So I'm saying the tiniest action will make your whole being relax. So let me see. Are there any questions? Oh my goodness, I have a lot of people here all of a sudden. Hey, Ada. Woo. Oh, who do you love? Who do you love, Tracy? Did I say something? Did I mention somebody? Oh, must be Simon. I get it. Okay. All right. So there you go. Those are, what I have here for you is more than just one action that you can take. There 3 actions that have to do with your body, okay? So these are actions to admit to yourself and know absolutely what's going on and that you are suffering in something is a huge action. It is. But yet, even to yourself, just to admit it, and then you say, what's one tiny action that I can take? What's one tiny action I can take? Because the big fears that we have that don't allow us to leave just keep us stuck, and we don't need that kind of feeling of being stuck. Okay, hi Ernie and everyone else. I'm so excited. All right, so that's about work. Those are the things that might happen when you are disconnected from your wisdom. I'm going to say wisdom instead of soul. Let's see, I'm going to suspect. See, the one person that I know never understands it is very close to me, and I think she has a point. So, in order to get to wisdom, you do have to pay attention to what's happening in your body. You cannot deny it and try and figure out how you're going to solve it, because the body doesn't need to have anything solved. It already has the answers. I just learned that recently, actually. I mean, I learned to say it that way from someone that I was working with. So the second area that I want to talk about today, and I won't go on like forever because I know people have short attention spans and much to do. So it's about relationship. Oh my, haven't we made some mistakes over there? And didn't we have a kind of clue, like right from the very beginning, that something was kind of, not right, not okay? So in my early 30s, I met a man, and like there was everything wrong with this guy. I mean, seriously, I don't know what I was thinking. And when I went to his house, oh my God, that's Simon, and he is seeing, what are you seeing, Simon? There are birds outside. So I met a man who had an inch of dust under his bed, right? An inch of dust. And these were my unconscious years where I was not treated for codependency. I had no clue what the heck that meant. But saving people, helping people, doing everything for someone else and thinking that you need them more than you need to have a relationship with yourself is maybe part of the game or part of life in certain circumstances. Certainly in mine. So there I was, and I was, I was convinced that I needed someone. Now there's a problem. And number two, that this person, if I was in their lives, lucky them. Now, isn't that something? So I'm going to go back to what I said before. Where was I feeling something in my body? In other words, first of all, what was going on in my body? Like, my head told me that I could save him. My body was going, ooh, this guy's got some trouble. And where did I feel it? Like, at least pay attention. We just don't have enough training in body. We don't. We haven't been taught that way. And this, in this culture, this is what's king. And for God's sake, admit what I'm feeling to myself. I'm disgusted. I'm not very excited about this guy. Or, bleh. What's the one action I could have taken? I don't have a clue. Then I was a little lost. However, I know what I was able to do in my current relationship. I was able to feel into myself and know that the person that I was going to date and have now been with for over 7 years, I knew that that person was the right person for me. And the one tiny action that I could take every day was to keep staying there until I felt safe enough. Not because he wasn't safe, but because I had had some bad experiences. And so it made total sense for me to go slowly. That's the horse in the house. I'm going to pause for a minute just to get a sense of anyone else. Hello, buddy. Yes, absolutely. I know, we do. We dismiss things, we ignore things, oh my goodness. And one of the other things that I was going to mention is about addiction. Because one of the ways in which we stop ourselves from knowing and hearing our own inner wisdom is by immersing ourselves into whatever form of addiction we are most likely to connect with. So that is such a big problem because it never solves anything. Like, it's not, and I think that what never happens is admitting what we're feeling in our bodies and to ourselves. Like, I have a great example. So last night I put out some, like a request to one of my favorite mentors. And I said, I have this workshop that's coming up, Living from Our Souls. Maybe I'll call it Living Wisely. And I haven't really, filled it. And one of the things that she said was, well, see if you're marketing it right and try and do a few, like some of these, classes, a live class, where you're actually teaching the kinds of things that are in that workshop. So I spent hours trying to get clearer on my messaging, and I'm going to be sending probably this video to the people on my list, on my mailing list, and I'm doing this live video. But at a certain point, I got some feedback, and I worked so hard for so many hours, and I still heard, you're not clear enough. I can't help you because you don't talk about the problems you're going to help people face. So I thought I was being very clear. That thing in itself kind of squished me. And I could feel the exhaustion. So I used my good thinking mind and I said, you're tired. You need a break from doing all this work that you've been doing since 7 a.m. Because the tendency that I had would have been to go eat something. Because I didn't like the feelings. What's going on in my body? I didn't like the feeling. And I didn't want to feel it, but I was feeling. So when I was able to admit what I was feeling, I don't know why I'm using these cards, little props. When I was able to admit what I was feeling, I was able to say, it's okay, you've done well, you're here, you're going to show up, let's do it. And one action I could take was to say, when this is over, I'm going to go for a walk with my hubby and take a break. So those are actually 4 actions you can take for 3 different situations. I talked about work. I talked about relationship. My cat is now in a box. It's a new box because something got delivered here today. So he's scratching. And 3, I talked about addiction. Because we always go to something to numb out the pain. But it never solves anything. So even within that, when you want to go take a drink, eat too much, smoke, whatever we do. We do a lot of things. I certainly do. Less than I ever did. What's one tiny action that I can take? Ask yourself that. And I mean tiny. So eat the bag of chips and go for a walk. I mean tiny. Seriously. Because we have to work with ourselves. Like no use getting yourself into agitation. Really. I'm not recommending you go and eat chips, but you know what I'm saying. Yes, my cat's having fun. Does anyone have any questions? I actually can see your questions. If you would be willing to ask me, I would be very, very happy. It's interesting because I'm going from one place to another. Be compassionate and understand ourselves. Absolutely. It's the number one thing is that kindness towards ourselves. Like what I find is people get really harsh. They get harsh and they say, they hate themselves. Like that never works. It doesn't work with people. It certainly doesn't work with us, does it? So, no, it does not work. Thank you for being here and for all your replay viewers. I am delighted that you were here. And yes, I'm not done yet. Let me just say, if this is of any interest to you, I do have a program that starts on Monday. I'm thinking I'm running it on Monday. Either that or I'm going to give it one more week of getting more people in. But here we do this kind of thing. Thank you, Ernie. We do this kind of thing. And I use Zoom because I love Zoom. I get to see everybody's face. And I give you a tool to work on. And then we talk about it. And then you practice it. And then it's the next week. It starts on Monday. It is from 7 at night to 8:30. And it is Pacific time. And I'm definitely considering, yes, Zoom is awesome. I'm definitely considering opening it up for during the day as well. So I could get people from the UK and who are my buddies and also the East, for instance. That would be good. All right. I think I better stop and wish you all a wonderful, wonderful day of magic. Yep. magic, love, wisdom. Yeah. Connect to everything that's going on inside, and especially your heart. You have some information coming for you. It's not a big mystery. It's just that if we live from here up, we are really, what are we doing? We're limiting the information that really is there for us. So check in. Okay. Love you lots, and thank you, Ernie, for being here. Mwah.